Hey, welcome back, everybody, to, to another segment of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with today's tech guest, but we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Remember, these are all companies that I used as an athletic director. You should be using them too. So take the next couple minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Tech Tuesday expert, and then go and visit each one of these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Let's go and say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. Go to hometownticketing.com. It's digital ticketing that offers more. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the events, or show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's also a great way to tell your school's unique history and brag about your proudest moments. The website is vitalsignswalloffame.com. We want to say thanks to our friends at Gipper. You know, your students are on social media, and if they're not seeing content that celebrates their accomplishments and promotes your program, you're missing out on a great opportunity. Go to Gipper.com. Their team will have you creating world-class content in seconds. It's so easy, even I can do it. Go to Gipper.com to get started. We also want to thank our good friends at Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. You know, athletic directors already get feedback, but a lot of times it's from a very small group that only wants to complain. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. And having that information is tremendously valuable, especially when you're sitting with a frustrated parent, maybe your principal, or even your school board. That website is athleticsurveys.com. Mention the podcast. We want to say thank you to our good friends at Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform that you're going to use every single day. Things like scheduling, uploading rosters and results, communication. How about athlete eligibility and clearance? Who doesn't do that every day? Well, Home Campus does all of this and more, does it better, and it does it faster. To get started, just go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com. We want to say thank you to the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration. This is an affordable online program, only 20 months, and it also allows you to complete 11 NIAAA leadership training courses, all for the same cost. Now, I didn't get my master's from Ohio University, but my assistant athletic director did, and it was a great experience. To get started, just go to ohio.edu/info/MAA, the Ohio University Online Masters. We'd like to thank Sideline Interactive for their support. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their score tables and their scoreboards in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com to see all their great products. We want to say thanks to our friends at Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our kids loved the videos, and our parents loved the streaming, but there's so much more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. And we'd like to thank Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and then been disappointed in the results? Those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. It's hands down the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school with tremendous success. Our coaches loved it, our parents loved it, and it works. Go to snapraise.com. You can check out their other great platforms, but if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it. Go to snapraise.com. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. Longtime listeners know that this segment is kind of designed to provide, information. We like to say best practices and tools for ADs and coaches. And I think you're going to really enjoy this week's guest. We're going to be talking with Doug Martin. Doug's got a tremendous background in athletics. He's the founder and owner of his own company, Martin Sales. He's going to tell us about that. But let's go ahead and welcome him. Doug Martin, welcome to the Educational AD Podcast.
How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm glad that you reached out because again, you and I were talking before we started recording. This segment and all of our segments, I think, are about helping ADs and coaches do their job better. Let's go and jump right in it. We always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us that quick bio, where you were born, maybe that sports
yeah,
background growing
that's
up. And
great. Yep, I started in Stamford, Connecticut, went off to prep schools, on to Northeastern University in Boston, then coached a hockey team at a prep school, met the guy who sold them their uniforms and equipment. He had a nice tan up in Massachusetts. And I said, "What do you do?" He said, "I play a lot of golf." I said, "Wow, you must have a lot of free time doing what you do." He told me, if you want to get in this business, you need to go to a big sporting goods show down in Atlanta. 7 days, I think, of walking around. She was a huge sporting goods show. Walked around with he had to have business cards, and I had to name it Martin Sales because I was so creative at the time. Handed out the cards, met all the presidents of all the businesses, Rawling, Spalding, Russell Athletic at the time. I wanted to meet all the decision makers so that eventually I had a guy at all the different companies. Fast forward 32 and a half, 33 years. I provide uniforms, equipment, everything my customers need. I do not do scheduling of games and I do not do transportation. However, I've got a guy or a girl that'll help me out with any other item that you guys might need, like your floor is done or your wall padding, anything you need. And I wear a doctor's coat at trade shows. Many of you have been to the National AD show. That's where I wear my doctor's coat at the regional shows. I introduced dye sublimation in the early to mid 2000s to many people around the country. I did every show there was. I was the showman. Um, Sublimation was great because everybody's numbers were peeling off the uniforms at the time and they couldn't get fill-ins. And we just, I thought at the time, I still sell a lot of it. It's the best method of outfitting your teams. That's what I have for you. I actually coach the athletic directors into what they actually need and not what all the kids want. That way their budgets are going a little bit further than they would if they bent into all the kids' wants, basically.
Yeah, and you touch on a great point. Athletic directors that, let's say, I always did. I would talk to my coaches. I'd try to find out what they liked, and of course, we would, listen to the kids. They weren't driving the bus though, but um, they have a lot of choices when it comes to choosing uniforms, and
Yes.
you're looking for, you know, all things. You're looking for value, something that's going to last, more than a couple of seasons, something that looks good.
Right.
Replacement pieces are always a challenge depending on your vendor. Um, Talk a little bit about how you work with coaches and ADs to kind of check those boxes.
So we start off with budget because we offer a good, better, best option. And yes, Speedline uniforms make the best uniforms out there. They're based out of Tampa, Florida, and actually made in Tampa, Florida. Then I go offshore to Dominican. I use uniforms like Champ Pro uses Dominican factory. They have a quick turn deal where 5 days, but you're paying a lot per item to get them in 5 days. Their standard turnaround time is 15 days, 10 to 15 days. Then I go off to Pakistan, where there must be 100 factories in Pakistan. You just got to choose the right one, I guess. And I have a guy that it's unbelievable what he can come up with and out with and how quick he can do it. I just did 600 warm-ups for a school and they were $50 for a hooded sweatshirt. It's fully sublimated. Jogger pants, side seam pockets with zippers on them so you can hold your phone in there and it doesn't fly out or anything else. $50. And he pays the shipping from Pakistan. And had to be $2,000 in shipping alone. He's a great guy. I'm a relationship person. All my customers call me because I get it done for them. And they pay their bills on time. And I'm not looking for, 100 new customers a day. I've been doing this a long time. I have a lot of very good customers that refer me. I'm doing this as a service to people who need my help and would listen to me as far as what I know. I will not steer you wrong or you won't call me back. Right.
Right. And again, that's why we're sharing, Martin Sales today with our listeners. For somebody
Right.
who is needing that, here's another resource for you. Now,
Exactly.
as a longtime football coach and athletic director,
Yeah.
I tried everything. We used a dealer with Champ Pro, is a great product, loved it. We've also used, let's say name brand,
Yeah.
the big names for uniforms, for football, basketball, you name it. Um,
Yes.
a lot of well, let's say some companies, want schools to become that team school, that team program with one of those big name companies behind it, and they promise discounts and things like that. And I'm sure they deliver too. From
Yes.
your position, okay, what's the advantage of going with Martin Sales as opposed to let's say Acme, national brand that
Well,
on
your your
ESPN?
your your Acme your Acme national brand was just sold again. Um, it went. I just saw it I saw it a couple weeks ago, but it's official now. And they were just, I don't know, was it $5.4 billion? Come on, they have 3,000 salespeople. They carry all three major brands. They I only go to the trade shows because they're the only other ones there, basically, and I'd like to be the other alternative. So I wear their doctor's coat because other dealers are creating so much pain out there, and all they do is come to me and say, I can't get this. I need 40 lacrosse helmets, but one kid's head's too big. Where do I find it? But I already bought the other 39 somewhere else. Can you find the one that I actually need? Like, I could. But the service, they can't provide the service. They can't do the turnaround time. I just did 560 t-shirts for somebody. They need them by the 3rd. Today's this 27th. They'll have them. It's just, you take care of the people that are out there that are interested in listening and interested in getting help, and not listening to coaches that were in name brand logoed items in college, and all of a sudden they're coaching high school and they think they're at the still at the college and they still have that kind of money. They
Mhm.
probably don't. So I don't mind dealing with the small schools. They pay their bills. They need everything the big schools need, and they want the service that the big schools are not getting, basically.
Yeah, and I think the service certainly is number one. Value is certainly in there. But for me, I remember as a football coach and as an AD, I could have spent X amount on that national brand. And it's a great product, looks
Yep.
great, where
Yep.
it's tremendous. But that's all I could have bought. If
Right.
I buy, another brand, I'm still getting great service. I'm still getting a great product. And I can buy a couple of t-shirts, a pair of shorts, and I can
Right.
buy some extra
Value, the
gear.
value. Yes.
That's the way I looked at it, and there's a lot of different ways to look at it, but, that's why I was excited about having you on the show. Doug, let's go and cut to the chase. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out, find out more about Martin Sales, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
Um, Depending upon the volume of calls, I'll give you my cell phone number. It's 603-493-3299. I have to disclaim that I still play ice hockey with the college kids right here in Florida. And that's at noon. I'm out my door at 11:30 in the morning. I'm back from lunch by 3. So I'm not retired. I'm just still tired. So I will help you with whatever you guys need. Just if you get my voicemail, and I do get voicemails once in a while that say, I didn't even know you had a voicemail, Doug. I've been chatting with you for 25 years. I didn't know it ever went to voicemail. It will between those hours on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Just a note, take advantage of this product that, speaking of football, being a football coach, my daughter wore those Guardian helmet covers for playing hockey when she was maybe 10 years ago. And now you see them, they make them for ice hockey, but now you see most football programs wearing them. I'll help you guys out. I know the owners pretty well. they are kind of expensive, and it's always that's like an add-on thing. But I think every school should have them for football, maybe lacrosse and ice hockey. I'll tell you right now, I'll help you out with that because my daughter went through the concussions. And as a personal thing, I'll help whoever reaches out to me. My email is team uniforms, plural, at martinsales.biz. B as in boy, I as in Indian, Z as in zebra. All right. I'm located in Florida in a 140 square foot office with zero overhead, really. And so I can take care of you. Just say, Doug, listen, I need soccer balls. My buddy runs Select Soccer. I'll help you out. Right now, we have some closeouts. I just got a list of a couple items. There are no soccer balls right now, being soccer season. That type of stuff. I got a guy or a woman to help you out with all this stuff. All right. And I really appreciate you having me on. I haven't done many Zooms. I'm sorry about the background and all that other stuff. But you call me, I'm picking up the phone.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries. Well, again, you gave out the cell phone number. We appreciate that, and the email. Um, Coaches, ADs, give Doug a call. I mean, the worst he can do is say, hey, I can't find that product, or this is our price. But I'm thinking he's probably going to be able to help you out. So
Yeah, and I'm not going to push any of those three on you for the sneaker company brands. I'm going to try to help you out with stuff that you'll last you a while. Because honestly, I don't want to sell you the same thing every year, and I don't want to sell you something that's discontinued and all of a sudden you can't get fill-ins on something. Let's keep talking for a while. I just turned 40 2 days ago, and well, for the 20th time. But I'll help you out as long as I keep doing it. How's that?
yeah, I love that line. You're not retired. You're just tired. Yeah,
I'm
I
just
feel
still
I'm
tired.
retired and I am tired. Uh, Doug, thanks again for coming on. All the best. We're going to have to connect since we're both in Florida here. And worst case, we'll definitely stop by your booth at the NADC in Austin.
I just backed out of it. I had a conflict, but I will be there in Tampa up the street the following year. I do the National Baseball Coaches Show every year because usually it's in Florida and somewhere else. And I kind of don't hang at the booth. I do stuff in those towns, but I'm there and I help out when people need stuff.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely check you out in Tampa. Doug Martin, Martin Sales. He's also on LinkedIn, so you can connect there.
I am on LinkedIn, Lake Worth, Florida.
Thanks for sharing with our audience. All the best. And we'll have to get you back on down the road for an update.
Thank you. Appreciate it, sir.
Hey, for listeners, we appreciate you. And just a reminder, we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this just about every day, sharing stories and best practices for ADs and coaches. So we hope you'll join us next time for another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks again. Hey, that's Doug Martin Sales. Check him out, see what he can do for you, whether it's uniforms, equipment, you name it. Very well connected, and he's going to treat you right. Our sponsor is going to treat you right too, and we're going to give him a shout out just one more time. We want to thank Gipper, Huddle, Home Campus, Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Tables and Video Boards, Hometown Ticketing, Snap Raise, the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration, Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack, and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast.